Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mondoid, your one-stop shop for all things Project Zomboid. This week, no, we will not be looking at the blog, no, I will be not giving you my opinions on what the developers have to say. This week, we are getting a sneak peek at what you've all been waiting for. That is what is behind the closed doors of the closed testing group. That is Project Zomboid itself. I will be giving you a quick overview as to what has been going on. Yes, I have been part of the closed testing, as you have all suspected. And through this, I'm going to show you some of the new features, some of the new mood that is presented in this game, and what brings this game back to the glory days of 1.5 and out of the rut of 0.2.0. Now, right off the bat, you're taking a look at a fresh new menu, Project Zomboid with a nice new art, and what's really impressive about this new, main screen is that it looks like a game. It doesn't look like a proof of concept anymore, and the art is absolutely great, and it's really, really awesome. So, big thumbs up to the artist, I believe it was Mash who did it, and just great overall effect, and the music is also quite good. You can't really ignore the fact that Zach Beaver is a talented young man. But, without further ado, let's jump into the game. Let's take a look at some of the neat features that have been added to the game and move on from there. So right away we're gonna hit survival. We have the Muldrow, and right here we have a big box, and all it says is Muldrow, Kentucky. Now, I can only assume this is going to be for other cities, other things for modding community to kind of add in, and maybe even the Indie Zone if they so choose. But we're going to hit next, and we're going to be greeted with the character creation screen. Now, this is nothing new. It's got a nice coat of paint over it, of course. We can't change to male right now because it's still working out some sprite kinks, and we can't change our name. Now, the big disclaimer that has to be slapped onto this is that this is in closed testing. Bugs are going to happen, but they are confident enough in their build that I can show it off and that you guys will get a very good impression as to how it's coming along. So like I said, this is nothing new. You pick your class, you pick your traits if you so choose, and you can change your stuff. Now, right now, the only thing that's really changed outside of it looking really good and really sleek and clean is that they added some icons along the sides of the traits. But no big deal, right? We're not going to worry about that. I don't want to talk about too much about the things they could do or they couldn't do because, again, it is currently in closed in closed testing right now, and everything's subject to change. I will be giving my opinions on the gameplay, of course, because that's where I specialize. Now let's hit play, let's load this sucker up, and let's talk about the game proper, the graphics, the animation, the mood, the difficulty, all the things that I've been talking about for these many, many years, or should I say these past 2 years at this point, of the game, and what's really improved, what's really changed, and what could be improved in time with the closed testing, and what could be improved in time with the gameplay. So, let's load this sucker up, and I'll see you guys on the other side. And here we are, inside what everybody has been waiting to see, what will eventually become RC3. So, we've got a lot to go over, and not a lot of time to do it, as I'm not going to be doing this for a while here. This is going to be a sneak preview, and I want to get right into it and talk about some of the implications and some of the changes they've made, some of the big stuff that's really changed the game for the better, and some of the stuff that may be minor at first, but in general have changed the game in a dramatic way. So, let's hit play. I may not be the same person you saw me start as, and that's the reason for that, and you're going to see a zombie dead on the ground there. It's because I did play a little bit, and save games do kind of hold over. So let's start. So immediately, we're in an area of town that we don't recognize. The lighting system looks great. It's at, early in the morning right now, so the sun's still coming up, and it actually adds this nice kind of atmospheric, this nice little mood to the gameplay in general. So we're just going to swing out in here and do a little bit of searching of some resources and talk about some, like I said, some of the changes that have come along with the game so far. And there's a pot on the ground because I dropped it earlier. Again, the world I'm playing in is one that I was playing in earlier. And again, a quick clarification, the game is still in closed testing, so bugs are bound to be there. Feel free to look and list them if you see them, and let me know what I missed if I don't see any. So, one of the very early things to note while we're playing is that MASH has done a great job adding variety and livelihood to the buildings themselves. And what I mean is there's some clutter. And by clutter, I mean there's a couch with a TV, there's a stove that doesn't look like a normal stove, does it? Or a fridge that looks slightly different. She has done a great job at making things look different. So each stove you come across is going to look slightly different. Each counter you come across could look different. There's TVs. There's going to be closets in houses now. Houses should, in general, make sense. So all this great stuff that we may have had problems with earlier, where there's no bedrooms in a house, or for some reason no bathroom in this house, that doesn't exist anymore. And on top of it, the houses look like they were lived in at some point. So excellent little addition by MASH herself. The second thing I want to talk about real quick is the character screen itself. So we're going to pause it, and usually when you click this heart, your health comes up, right? So if we click the heart, health would come up. But if you notice when we take a look at this tab here, we're taking a look at what we've seen in earlier Mondoid blogs. We have ourselves our woman here, and her class isn't... Usually what will be here is her class and her traits, but when I restarted the game, because I had to restart it because I needed to take a break before I actually started recording this, and I forgot that I actually exit out of the game. So usually the class that you choose is going to be here. The traits are going to be here. We also have the skills system right here. And this is all the skills, which we're going to take a nice deeper look at momentarily once we start playing. And then you have the health thing here. So that's already something nice and new. The skills, I love how it works. No longer do you have to fall asleep and level up. You will level up as you go. The more you do something, say the more I run, the more experience I'll gain kind of popping in here. And then you accumulate experience before you get a skill point. So say I've spent 100 XP while I'm running, right? And I get a skill point, but at the same time I've done a lot of axe swinging, but I only have one skill point. I need to choose which one I want to do. It's not as easy as before. I think I may not be describing it as well as I'd like, but it'll become clear as I play, or perhaps when you eventually get your hands on it as well. But the biggest and most important thing that's really have changed and really has made the biggest game-changing kind of effect to the game is the way the inventory system works. Now, the way the inventory system used to work was you had like a random number. It was like 180 pounds you could carry. I'm pretty sure is how it was. You could carry a ridiculous amount of stuff. That's not how it works anymore. So you can click on this inventory thing, and you can see that tab at the top disappear. You click on it again, it comes back. If you hover over it, this is your inventory. And in the top right, you're going to see 3 of 8. What does that mean? Well, that means you can carry a maximum of about 8 pounds of stuff before you start slowing down, before you can't sprint anymore, etc., etc. And there's a little box and a little tab over here that we're going to get to in a minute. Each thing weighs a certain amount, so the axe is about 2.5, and all these are about 1, but I'm wearing them. So I believe it just rounds up right now, so I'm carrying technically about 3 pounds of stuff. This tab right here, we don't have to really worry about. It's a loot tab. We're going to look at that here in a minute. So that's going to be good. Now, the other big thing is equipping things and useful things. Now, before, if I wanted to make a bandage, I had to open up a crafting window. Well, that doesn't exist anymore, if you can't tell. So how do I craft things? Well, if I wanted to make this blouse into bandages, I can now right-click. And this right-click gives me a bunch of stuff I can do with it, including rip up bandages. And the same thing with an axe or something you could equip. I can equip it as my primary or my secondary, or I could just drop it. Now, when you equip something or do something with a said object, it's no longer instant. So if I click primary, you see a quick kind of like spell bar from like World of Warcraft, or an action bar in general, kind of pop up, and it takes time. So everything now takes time. That's not the only thing that takes time anymore. If we pop open this and we take a look what's in here, so we don't have much in here right now, which is unfortunate, but we can let's see, grab this whiskey bottle. It takes a second. It takes about a second. Same thing with grabbing a tea bag or a kettle or a fork. Let's grab a fork. It takes a second, and it goes into my inventory. And then well, now that I have all the stuff in here, what kind of implication does that mean? Well, I'm being attacked by zombies. I am surrounded. I am on a scavenging mission in the middle of the city, and all of a sudden the zombies have found me. I am in a lot of trouble. I can no longer just open up a cabinet and click over and have everything go into my inventory instantaneously. Everything takes time. So I have to go one by one, take one thing from a counter, and my character is essentially picking it up and putting it in her bag, or picking it up and putting it in her pockets. And that's exactly what's happening, and why the game says it takes a second, you know, with that bar. It makes it more realistic, and on the other hand, it makes the game a bit more harrowing and difficult. So we have this whiskey bottle here. Let's empty the whiskey bottle. We can just empty it out. We don't drink it. We can just literally empty it. If we want to drink it, we could have. But I decided to empty it because another thing you're going to notice is I don't have any water or food. I literally start with nothing. That's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous, in fact. And it's something you need to keep in mind. Your priorities when starting the game immediately become slightly different. No longer are you just attempting to find food and shelter. You need to find all kinds of stuff. And man, I hit the jackpot right here. Alright, so I'm going to take this sheet. I am going to rip it into bandages and take it, which should do pretty well, which should be in there. So I should have bandages. I do. But on the other hand, I have found a duffel bag and a school bag. So the school bag has a capacity of 15, but a weight reduction of 80. And the duffel bag has a capacity of 30 with a weight reduction of 80. What does that mean? Well, let's grab this, and let's take a look. So I have a duffel bag now. Let's head out here so we don't get seen in the window. And let's take a look. So we have a duffel bag. Now, on this tab, we have a separate spot. We can now start throwing things into my duffel bag. I can easily just start tossing things in there. Bandages, everything's going to go in there. What's that going to mean? And it's going to do one by one, by the way. If something's stacked, it is one by one until everything is in the duffel bag. What does that mean? Well, the biggest problem that someone's going to have when starting up a game is going to be, crap, I can only carry 8 pounds of stuff. How is that going to help me? How am I going to be able to manage that? Well, now you need to start looking for bags. You have plastic bags, duffel bags, backpacks, all these things that'll allow you to carry more than you normally would. And that's something that's going to have to become a priority for you in general. And luckily, if you want to, you can drop the bag, say, for instance, like that, and then I can pick it back up, and it should still have everything in it. So, say I'm carrying too much. Maybe I overloaded my duffel bag and myself, and I'm still going slow. But I planned on that. I planned on overloading. This was going to be a scavenge run that I wanted to overload on. I'm heading home. I'm a little bit too over encumbered, and here comes a horde. I can now drop my backpack and come back for it later, and it will have everything that I put into it in there still. So it's just one of those awesome new features that the game has. Now I can climb through windows, as you can see, a nice new animation that I love. Let's eat this. And one thing I actually want to show you here by grabbing a couple of things. There we go. Peas we'll grab. We'll grab a few things. And I want to, I don't know if I can actually fill up this. I don't think I can. Nope, I can't actually put water into this, it looks like. That's unfortunate. So we need to find a bottle of some sort, pretty quickly if we can. But I'm going to move this over here into the duffel bag. Now, say I have food. I put all my food in my duffel bag. And I need to, oh, excuse me, as I have the hiccups. I need to eat. I'm like starving, and I need to eat. And it's in my duffel bag. So how do I do that? Well, I can just right click and eat it. But it doesn't eat it. Instead, you have to unpack it first. Once you unpack it, then you can start eating it. Now, again, this is not, that may not be the biggest implementation in the world. What does that mean? How is that going to make the game any different? It all goes back to what made the original, not the original, but 0.2.0 so incredibly easy. What made 0.2.0 so easy, in my opinion, was the accessibility. And not in the good way. Not like the game is accessible, therefore it is now easy. Ooh, this is nice, a pistol, but I'm not going to take it. What made the game... Oopsie, probably shouldn't have done that. Oh, I didn't cut myself, that was lucky. What made the game incredibly easy was that everything was instantaneous. I stumbled for a word there. If I wanted to eat food, I could shove as much food down my throat as much as possible, as fast as possible, without any kind of penalty for it. On the same end, I could also move things from one inventory to another. Whoop! Zombies, we'll go there in a moment. We're not going to really deal with them right now. I'd rather not. But adding all of this kind of... We'll take out this one guy. We'll show you a little bit of combat. So combat still is the same. Hold down control. Rear up to swing. But axes are not the end-all, be-all anymore. But that one, actually, he went down actually really easily. Zombies, all zombies take different amount of hits, by the way. Anyway... So moving things from counter to inventory, inventory to counter was also easy. So making this take time means that if you're in a hurry, if you're in a panic situation, if zombies are around the next corner, you don't have the time to do that. You need to make the split decision. Do I drop everything I have now and survive another day? Or do I attempt to get this into safety so I know where it is and come back for it later? It's one of those situations that I think makes the game a much more interesting world. And the other thing that MASH has done, by the way, is add, like, kind of cool stuff. So like this blood splatter on the ground, that wasn't for me, that's part of the world, and I like that a lot. Let's take a look around and see what we can find. So we're going to look at counters. So no longer, by the way, do I need to individually click on counters to search them. All I have to do is click on these areas. So I click on a counter and it will automatically give me tabs for all the nearby stuff that I can open up. So we got some chips that we're going to end up wanting to take here. Gardening spray. So the camping mod and the we're going to eat this apple while we're here. The camping mod and the farming mod are now officially part of the game, which is pretty awesome. Let's get out of here and do a little bit of exploring. Another neat feature that is now going to be in the game is the RC2.5 RC3 is no longer going to be split up into cells. The whole world is fully streamed as one large world. Oh, nice. Blood Spatter looks so good now. It is all one large, seamless world in which you can explore at any time. And I think that is awesome. One of the bugs that is kind of weird is that this loot thing will stay open sometimes a little too long, if sometimes it won't even close. Certain zombies are different speeds, of course, which kind of carries over. And wow, this girl's actually kind of good with an axe. I've been able to kill them all in one shot each time. Literally, the only time this has happened as many times as usual. Usually, they take multiple hits before I actually have to take them down. And we're starting to have a few zombies kind of wander their way this way. There we go. A nice new swing down animation. You can actually hit zombies while they're down. Let's get out of here. Let's do a little bit of exploring. So, one of the other things I really like is that zombies have idle animations. On top of it, zombies are spread out a little bit more realistically now. They're a little bit... There's a lot of them, don't get me wrong. But out in the outskirts of a city, you won't see as many as you usually would. On the inside of the city, and by damn, on the inside of the city, is there a lot of zombies. Which is pretty dangerous. At the same time, they're not all clustered like a huge clunk of like zombies like stacked on top of each other. They actually are kind of staggered in a way that makes sense. Since we are going to be coming up on the end of our kind of quick look, here we go. There's a lot of zombies over here. Dear Lord. Wow, there's a lot over here. We're actually, where we spawn, we're actually kind of near the city, which is why there's so many. If I was smart, by the way, I would not be trying to take this out. Let's get out of here. See, he snuck up behind me. Zombies are a huge threat now. That's another big thing that has changed. Zombies, wow, that guy's fast. Zombies are a monstrous threat compared to what they used to be. This guy is a monster. They attack much quicker now. Running through a horde of zombies is not a viable option any longer. You kind of need to pace yourself and avoid big hordes if you can. They attack a lot faster. And rain is back, by the way. Weather has returned, which actually affects your character. This redhead guy, these redhead zombies are insane. Okay, let's try not to get bitten. Can we just... Jesus. Now, we can't loot zombies yet. Not yet in 3.0, but we will be at some point be able to loot them. Anyway, so let's do a little bit of exploring. I want to show off some of the map if we don't end up dying from it. A couple zombies saw me, but not all of them did, so they're all kind of milling about still, which is great. So let's see if we can avoid them. Nice storage house over here. Let's get out of here. Whoa. Down you go. We can hit her while her's down. So zombies, still, in low numbers, not a threat. But the problem in the old versions was in big numbers, they weren't a threat either. But they are very much a threat now. We're going to avoid them. And I'm hoping, and I believe later on in 3.0, they are not going to allow axes as like the starting weapon. They're just kind of giving... Ooh, excuse me, weird hiccup. They're just giving them the close testing right now for survivability to be a little bit easier. We snuck up on that one, which was great. We can finish her off. There we go. There's some great new sounds in the game now. The sounds of zombies banging on the windows is way different, and it sounds a little bit more violent and a bit more hurried, and it sounds terrifying. Overall, one of the things I really, really enjoy is just the return of mood in this game. So one of the big problems in RC 2.5 and 2.0 particularly was the mood of the game had substantially changed. 1.5, the demo that you get for free on Desura or wherever, is was what I would call the pinnacle of the game in its early development. It was scary, it was moody, it was depressing. And that disappeared in the later versions because, like I said, things kind of became too easy. And with this, the return, God save us. Look at that. The small details is great in this game now. The return of mood in this game, in this particular version, not only with animation, but with lighting and the way zombies are a threat now and all this wonderful stuff is freaking just so good. And I think that's one thing I just want to commend the Indie Stone for doing, is the return of mood in this game is going to make playing and watching this game a total blast again. And not to say I'm not having fun now with it, but it's going to be a totally different feel. And I can't actually reach this window. There we go. Because I'm going to go to sleep here. And sleeping works slightly differently now. It actually fast forwards time like that really quickly, kind of Sims style. And we woke up, so let's see what we can eat out of here before we have to go. We can eat whatever we can grab. We're gonna eat basically everything I think they have. Like I said, we're getting a little thirsty, but I'm hoping we'll find some water bottles shortly. It would be great if we found some water bottles sometime soon. We might actually be able to let's pop this open. Let's grab this bowl and see if we can fill this up with water. I wonder if we can. No, we can't. We need a water bottle. I'm going to drop those bowls and get out of here. Alright, let's leave. There we go. We could click out of here. So we're leaving in the kind of early morning. So nighttime is way, 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 way harder to see. Obviously. But with street lights and stuff, certain areas are much more visible. But walking at night, though, I think zombies' vision of you is also kind of hindered. But your vision is even more so. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to finish up very shortly and wrap everything up. I think this is the church. And what a good way to kind of log out then have a final battle in the church. Let's go, guys. In the church we go. Let's fight in the church early in the morning and say goodbye. We'll make them bang down the doors. We'll do a little of exploration. Look at all the blood everywhere. Everything just looks so good. I'm super impressed. Everything just looks phenomenal. And that's, I mean, that's all I'm going to show you. There's so much more to talk about, so much more to see, but not without me taking, like, an actual, like, hour to explore it all, and that's not what I want to do here. So we're going to let them all in. Hey, you, get in here. We're going to go on a final fight and see how long we can last here. There was a good chunk of zombies out there, though. We might be able to survive because not all of them are showing up. But backing ourselves into a corner is probably a good way to go. She's down. That zombie's getting back up. What we missed. Alright. Down you go. Now, this bottlenecking him was a bit easy on our end. So we'll just pop this open here. And we'll just scooch out the back. And I guess we'll live to see another day. I really wanted to see if I could show you guys a huge horde. Let's actually see if I can grab you guys a huge horde. Ones that we had seen before. And we'll call it, wow, here's a lot over here. I wouldn't call this a huge horde, but this is one that I probably could not take on my own. It's not a huge horde. But we could probably take them. Alright, there we go. So guys, this is a quick sneak peek at what you can expect in RC3. Oh shit, let's push out. Alright, come on. We can fight them off. A quick sneak peek at what you can expect in RC3 and what's to come. There's so much to look forward to. I'm just going to run in there and let you hear the dying sounds of my friend here. And I hope you guys are excited as much as I am. Thank you, Lemmy and the Indie Stone, for allowing me to do this. And I will see you guys next time. Go check out the blog this week, as obviously I was not able to show you the blog. Wow, that scream is painful. But I will see you next time. Thank you so much for swinging by.